ร้องด้วยกันตบมือไปด้วยนะครับ
Beautiful dresses. So thank you. I'm honored for the opportunity to say some opening remarks. But I'm even more glad to be here with you the coming days and to learn from you.
And we share it with others, and that's what brings us together. And we heard it from Gam, we heard it from Jenny. Thank you so much for the partnerships. It means tremendous, so much to us. And we've been working on this journey since 2019. So I'm really, really happy that we are here.
Made it to Chiang Mai in Thailand, and we haven't had any physical events after COVID, so it's pretty exciting to see everyone here in the room. So for today's session, we want to start with the story of you, a story of all the young change makers, you know, how they have journeyed through the years. We have seen some amazing stories that are coming from the latest cohort. We had the first regional indigenous dialogue back in 2020 in Thailand, in Bangkok, and at that time we have Jal, we have Nobu, and some of the other alumni in the room joined the first physical training at that time. And after 2-3 years journey, they have grown a lot in their journey. So this is a session for them to tell what's happened after the event and how they have grown over the years.
All your stories, and the one thing I took from all of you is how vulnerable we all are, and it's okay to be that way. So I'm feeling like
doesn't make a mistake. Making sure you good right means saving Western material from the damage of pesticide, protecting farmers' main and only source of income.
Can you imagine clean running water? Can you imagine the region is fully covered by the snow? Yes, I'm talking about Ladakh. Ladakh is in northernmost region of India. 90% of the population is indigenous people, tribal people. Jule is hi, namaste. My name is Tilas Nobu and I'm from Ladakh, India, and I'm a co-founder of Ladakh Basket. Today I'm here to share my story about the journey of entrepreneurship. But in this conference, I have given 3 chances. So today I'm going to share about myself more. Today, if I'm an entrepreneur, how I become an entrepreneur. That's what I want to share with all of you. Okay, I was born and brought up in a small village called Litse, and I studied there till 10th class. Though I couldn't learn that much, I couldn't get college education in that school because that was government school. Because government school in Ladakh is neglected by everybody. But I have learned a lot from my community. While living in my village, I have learned about the culture, I have learned about the farming, I have learned about the ecosystem, I have learned about the core value, I have learned about the humanity while playing and grazing cow and sheep. After completing my school education from Litse village, I went to Leh city for further studies. That time, I started facing challenges. During that time, I have faced 2 major challenges. which I consider as the most difficult part of my life. That time, that two difficulties was my atmosphere around my village, around my classmates. They don't want to study. They don't want to pursue further education. Some of my classmates went to join Indian Army. Some of my classmates, they went to become a driver. Some of my friends went to get married. I was the only person from my village to pursue further education. Because that time I do have a belief that without education, I can't live happy life. That's why I stick with pursuing further education. And I went to Leh City. Another big challenge was my father and mother was farmer. They don't have that much enough money to send me. So anyhow, I went to Leh City to get admission. And I got admission in high secondary school in Leh. During that time, my financial crisis was a big problem for me. But during that time also, I need to think that I have to solve that kind of problems. That time, what I used to do, every week we have a Sunday like everyone has. On that Sunday, my friends and my classmates all are enjoying partying and all. But what I used to do is, I used to go to other houses to work. And what I have to earn is, I used to earn 250 rupees on that Sunday. And I used to spend for my essential item, to buy essential item for whole week. That's how I have completed my secondary education in Leh City. After that, another challenge came to me. That is, I want to pursue post-graduation in English literature. But during that time, in Leh City, there was only one college. In that college, there was no English literature subject at all. If I want to pursue further education, I have to go outside. I have to go to Delhi, or I have to go to Jammu, and I have to go to Kashmir. What I did is, I again decided and I went to Jammu. How I went? That time, luckily my elder brother got selected in Indian Army, and I have asked him money for the admission and 1 year course. And he gave me 40,000 rupees. And then I enjoyed for one year studying in Jammu. After that, still I have a 4 year. So I couldn't ask more money from my brother because he already got married and he has already 2 children. That time again, I tried my best to solve my problem. What I have done is, we used to have summer holiday for 2 months or 2.5 months. And I used to come back to Ladakh, and I used to do trekking. There are lots of tourists in Ladakh, and I used to do cook. But though I wanted to do guide, because guide has lots of money, but I couldn't do. That time I couldn't utter any words in English because I don't know. So that's what the problem. And that's how I used to earn for a whole year. 2 months working in, all my friends were enjoying in all holidays. But what I used to do is, I used to do work in the valleys of Ladakh. And I used to earn. And I used to go back to Jammu and study. And that's how I've completed my post-graduation in English literature. After post-graduation, what my families, what my relatives, and what my communities were expecting me to get government job. But in depth of my heart, I wanted to do something different. But I don't know what to do. Literally, I don't know. In 2018, I went to my neighbor village, where I have met 3 grandmothers. And I've asked one grandmother, where's your young boys and girls? And she said that all they went to up hills for grazing cow and sheep. I was literally enjoyed to hear that. After some time, one another grandmother came to me and said, son, she's just kidding. All they went to Leh City for better facilities and better opportunities. That hit me hard. That night, I couldn't sleep at all. And I thought that I need to do something for this community. And in 2018, I got opportunity to learn about the entrepreneurship. In that course, I got to learn that those who are solving the problem, they are the entrepreneur. So I am already entrepreneur in a way. So I thought that I became an entrepreneur. This time I'll solve another problem, another people problem. That's how I become an entrepreneur. And that year, we have started a venture called Ladakh Basket. Ladakh Basket is an online and offline platform where we can sell Ladakhi indigenous produce throughout the world. By doing so, we try to help local farmers. We try to empower the rural farmers so that they can sustain themselves in the villages, not in the city. Because in Ladakh, most of the population is staying in the villages till now. And now urbanization become a huge problem around the world as well as in Ladakh. Our main vision is to support local farmers, preserve indigenous culture and promote organic farming. Till now, we have been doing great. And we are helping our indigenous producers, indigenous farmers. Like Jal said, our poverty is killing the dream of young minds. All of us have a problem. All of us face challenges in our life. But if you turn your problems into the opportunities, then you can make miracle. Then you can make magical for your life. I'm always believing that without other people's help, we can't do anything. If we are helping to other people, then the world will conspire us to help us. That's how UNDP, that's how we are helped by UNDP, Youth Collab, Al-Sir Impact. Just because of them, we were from India, we won the international award. Why don't you? That's how we were featured in Better India platform. That's how we were featured in Youth College and City Foundation platform. That's how we won the award for regional level, Ladakh Science Foundation Award. That is all our story. My dear aspiring young entrepreneurs, brothers and sisters, we have only one life. We have only one life. But in order to choose career, we will have two options. That is red ocean and blue ocean. If you choose blue ocean, then you will definitely have more opportunities. You will definitely have challenge, but you might face it. You will definitely satisfied whatever you are going to do. You are definitely happy what you are going to do. If you choose red ocean, then definitely there is a less opportunity, more competition. There might be a challenge which you might not face that challenge. And you might not happy whatever you are doing. Choice is yours. Thank you very much.
I was perplexed. I don't know what to do. And people start taunting me that you have done all graduation and post-graduation, now what you are going to do and everything. So I was a little bit confused. But yesterday I told you that the story, that grandmother inspired me to work for my community. That grandmother, when I met grandmother, that night shook me from within, and then I have to do something. I thought that I have to do something, and then I realized that I can do entrepreneurship. So basically, I born and brought up in the villages, so I knew all this ecosystem, culture, and then farming and everything. So I knew that people in the villages, they are not getting right amount of money. If I give you one example, that we are producing in our every village in Ladakh, producing roasted barley flour, which is our staple food as well as Ladakhi food. So what when I started that venture, Ladakh Basket, people are buying at the cost of 35 rupees per kg, and that is nothing because they have put lots of effort to grow that roasted barley and then to mill it, water mill it. That costs more than anything. So now they are selling at the cost of 100 rupees. They are selling at 100 rupees per kg. That means that's what I want to create impact in our farmer lives. So that's my biggest inspiration is my grandmother who said that there is no one in the village and everyone went to the city for better opportunities and better facilities. That's inspired me to work for my community and become an entrepreneur. Thank you.
Back home, and this special song is very special because he will not sing alone, but he will also have Kim featuring with him. He's just practicing as well, so please give her a round of applause.
โอเคไปฟังพร้อมกันครับ
Yeah, so it's Dipuno from Thailand and Kim from Philippines, so they're just practicing like
Maybe we can clap together.
Back 2 years ago, and I think you were referring to this first meeting where I had the pleasure of meeting some of you. Some of you are 2-year-old faces. In January in Bangkok, we had the first meeting. And since then, a virus came into our lives. We did not invite him, but I say him, I don't know why. It could be a her, it doesn't matter. But it has really disrupted, all our lives in who we are, but also in how we interact with society and with each other. So I hope that today we are slowly learning and moving away, or the virus is moving away from us, or at least is being less violent with all of us. And we say we, it's not only UNDP Thailand, UNDP Philippines, UNDP Nepal, UNDP Laos, etc., etc. Right? So make sure that you engage with my colleagues in the different countries and hold them accountable. And if it doesn't work, let Ben know. He takes care of the difficult job. I take care of the easy job. That's how we share responsibility. Okay? Right, Ben? Okay, good. But I'm serious. Right? We have a commitment to this whole leave no one behind principle. Most of us are very committed to us. Right? Don't get us wrong. I'm not bad-mouthing on my colleagues. But a little push sometimes is good. Right? Hold us accountable to the role that we have to play in the countries where we operate. We have been supporting a whole movement of young people in Thailand for them to have a formal position, a voice, that we can then link to the Thailand contribution to COP27. Now, not all countries will have done that, right? But this, in my view, is the way to go. You need to learn the rules and the practices of the decision makers. Play their game. Don't try to impose your game. They won't listen. Right? But if you learn how to play with their rules, whether you like them or not is a different matter. Right? But get involved. Play their games. And then your voice will not be ignored. They won't be able to ignore it. Right? So that, I think, is a very good instrument that we have now with a global platform, but we need to bring it back to national. Right? So political empowerment to play a stronger role on climate, nature, and COP27 is going to be finished in a few days, but this COP15 on biodiversity that is starting next month in Montreal in Canada. Right? And I think we all know the big link between climate and nature. And again, knowledge of indigenous people who live with and for nature is going to be critical. And Canada as a host government will be very, positive and sympathetic with the whole indigenous agenda. The third is this other track that you have followed around social entrepreneurship, right? Because how are you expected to play a role in politics and play a role in climate if you struggle with basic necessities? Economic empowerment is of utmost importance. Right? And we cannot expect, especially young people, if they struggle every day to make a living. How can we expect them to raise the voice of the rights of the indigenous people? Very difficult. Well, we all have families to feed, tuition fees to pay, health bills, to take care of, especially when there is a pandemic like we've seen. Everybody is struggling. We know there's a huge economic crisis above our heads right now. Right? So I think this whole issue of social entrepreneurship is critical to empower economically the communities that sometimes live far from markets, live far from economic opportunities, right? In remote areas. So we need to use really creativity, imagination, innovation, digital platforms. I am amazed, and here in Chiang Mai you have so many examples of real, true economic success of ethnic minority individuals and groups that have been able, because they have learned, again, modern techniques of marketing, of packaging, of access to market, right? Financial literacy, how to run a small business. And what's fundamental with them is that they do it with their head, of course, but a large part is also with their heart. Right? And when you listen to them, they'll tell you fantastic stories, again, of individual empowerment, of how they've learned, struggled often, but ultimately have been very successful. Why? Why? Because the consumers today are demanding value in the products that they buy. So they don't just want coffee. They want coffee with a story. They want to know where this coffee is coming from. Right? They don't want to just wear something. They want to be comfortable that this has not been made by children's factories. Or that the paper they buy for their printing machine is made from sustainably managed forests. There's so many labels now on every product. And what is fantastic, and again, that's very good news, is consumers are ready to pay extra for this value. Right? So there is a whole ecosystem out there that I think some of you who know me know that I'm always optimistic and positive. And we have to be. I think we have to be. But it's true. I'm not making this up to make my story beautiful. It is true that I think there's a lot of signals that are coming out right now that are bringing positive opportunities. But you still have to transform those opportunities into a reality. Nobody else is going to do it but yourself. Right? But this is the whole concept of this meeting. This is the whole concept of our partnership with all of you. We want to support that process. We want to empower you so that you can transform those opportunities into successful experiments, whether it's in the political sphere, in the economic sphere, or in the climate sphere. And the three, to me, are intimately related. Because unless we take care of our climate, our economies are not going to go anywhere. Right? And you can show the correlation between the politics, the economics, and the climate in many different ways and means. Right? So I don't want you guys to feel like it's all gloom and doom out there. Right? Yes, the world is not in a good shape. The ecosystems are in poor health. The international politics are a source of plenty of stress. But I really think that all this gives us a lesson. COVID, another reason. Right? To go back to fundamentals, to go back to values. And I'm jealous. I'm jealous of all of you. Because I feel very strongly that when you come from a community where you can go back to roots and fundamental linkages, raw, raw, R-A-W, raw link to Mother Nature, like many of you do and feel, even spiritually, that gives such a strength because you have a meaning, you have a purpose. And many of those who do not enjoy that link today are a bit lost. Now, I'm not saying that you are immune to problems of mental health and lack of well-being, all those issues that we also grapple with. You're not immune to it. Right? I'm sure you will always have stories about this also. But, it roots you. It gives a fundamental meaning and value to anything you undertake in society. I was recently in New York and I met with our colleagues from the UN Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues, right? The famous UN for Indigenous or UNPEF-II. And they were telling me, member states in conversations are now more and more giving attention to what the Permanent Forum has to say. Their political strength is increasing in New York in the conversations around global norms and global standards. So all this again to me confirms the opportunities out there. Right? So I really hope that those few days that you've spent, I'm sure you're exhausted, but also exhilarated by the dynamism and the getting together and the solidarity that you must have felt over those past few days. But I really hope that this positive spirit, you're able to pack it in your suitcase, put it in your pocket, take it into your country, share it with your peers, and engage on those key issues of politics, economics, and climate. And that the next time we meet, I hope not in 2 years, sooner, right? We can again see how we can further strengthen the solidarity between the 11 countries and all the groups that you represent, and slowly but surely grow the space that you have, put the volume louder on your voice, and make sure that your aspirations are reflected in country development pathways, in strategies, in policy documents, all those tools where we have to see the print of ethnic minorities and indigenous peoples in Asia. Thank you, safe travels back, and I hope to see you again smiling and happy next time. Kabonka.
Very three important points. So maybe I'll follow on from him. That's the fourth point. That is okay. How do we conclude our sessions, the conference as well as the workshops that we have had? Right? Well, I think some of you do look sad, to be straightforward, and maybe that's also for good reasons. Those of you who are here from India, in Hindi they say, kuch hota hai, you know. That means something has happened inside. For good reasons, right? Yeah, maybe now you have bonded, you have shared so many things that you're beginning to long for each other so much that you feel something inside you, right? I think that's what the Hindi words means, kuch hota hai, you know? Something has happened inside. But this is, as we say, all things must come to an end, but not the end in the sense that, you know, in a bad sense. But it also is a beginning for new things, right? And so think about, for example, now you will go back home, right? And there are people who are looking forward to you, who are longing for you, and therefore you are going to go home, and the good things that you have experienced here, you have learned here, all the stories of bonding and friendship that you have made, you'll be going back home and sharing this, right? And that's the good part of it, that you have come here, now you take back something for your own people, for your organization, for your own communities. So it continues. There is always a good thing awaiting, right? As we create and make things that are beautiful and good. So if it is good and beautiful, there is always something that keeps on continuing, right? It's like the weaving of these patterns that we see in our clothes. You add more threads, you add more colors, and you keep on creating these beautiful designs and patterns, as some of the entrepreneurs